What's up, guys? It's your favorite Kiwi coach. Give me 6 months of your time and I'll give you the best golf swing of your life. So welcome back to the channel. We got another client before and after video for you guys today. We're going to be breaking down every single little tiny change that we did with this client's swing. We'll show you the before swing and the after and kind of break it down step by step. As well, we're going to tell you exactly how and why we changed what we changed as well. So let's go do this thing. But before we get into the video, I got a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Kiwi Golf Japan. If you are too busy to come to lessons or our locations are not near you and you want to learn from myself, well, Kiwi Golf Japan is the place to do it. You can watch videos just like you're watching this video here on YouTube, learn about golf, and with over 150 plus videos of golf instruction, I think it's a great deal for the price. So go ahead and check it out with the link down below, and let's get into this video. So I want to start this particular video with the entry and exits because I think it's one of the most important things in golf. You guys have probably seen me talk about it in other videos, but let's go ahead and talk about it with this particular client and show you exactly what he was doing. So if we go take a look at the before swing, we're going to see two things that are really important. So the first thing is, let's go take a look at where the face angle is pointed right before the ball. Face angle is pointed off in this direction. So if we kind of zoom out for a second and take a look, let's just pretend that he's aiming maybe even just right at the bullseye, right? Let's pretend that's kind of the goal. Well, if we draw a little circle right at the bullseye, the face angle is still pointed very far right of the bullseye, and it only has a little tiny distance to travel before it hits the golf ball. So what does that mean? Well, it means you're going to have a high rate of closure, or the toe will have to turn over really rapidly in a short period of time, which will be difficult because it's really easy when you only have a short period of time and the toe has to turn a lot. It's easy to underdo it, it's easy to overdo it, and hence that's why people who have this face angle position right before the ball struggle with starting line, right? And if you struggle with starting line, trust me, you're going to have really big misses when you struggle with starting line. Now, another important thing to take a look at is going to be the sweet spot relative to kind of the target line. It's coming in from the severe right side of the target line, or the right side of the golf ball. So that means the sweet spot now will have to swipe across the golf ball to align to the golf ball when you hit it. And it only has a short period of time to travel quite far to the left to align to the golf ball. And this is going to be difficult for centerness of contact, right? You can overdo it and hit a toe. You can underdo it and hit a heel. It's the same thing as the face angle. However, the result now is not necessarily starting line, but it could be starting line, but it's more so where are you going to strike it on the face. And whenever we see someone has this severe entry point from the right side, and even if they have it from the left side as well, you're going to see people struggle with toe to heel strikes really consistently. So it's something that you definitely want to avoid. All right, so if we go take a look at the after swing, let's first start off with the face angle and let's see where this thing is pointed. So as you can see now, the face angle is pointed right around here as it approaches the golf ball. So if the goal, let's say, was a little bit right of the bullseye right here, somewhere right around there, the face angle now doesn't have to close as much to get to that bullseye, which means you don't have to have a high rate of closure to actually get the face angle in the correct spot to hit the point that you want to hit or hit the starting line that you want to hit. And this is something that you want to strive for as you approach the golf ball. Now, there's a lot of people out there currently that's saying that you should get your face angle more and more shut as you start to approach the golf ball. And this is something that you should be careful when you're trying to take advice like that. Personally, I think it depends really on the shot that you're trying to hit. But as you can see, the face angle is still right of this target or the starting line right before this impact zone, right? This is something that you most of the time would want to do. You don't want to see the face angle pointing exactly where you want it to start at this particular point in the golf swing, because that means now that the face cannot close at all. So you're going to have to hold the face really square through that point, which is difficult to do. A lot of people typically close the face angle relative to the arc of the swing, and because it's an arc, that means that it's consistently closing through that section. So I personally recommend that it's a lot easier to have the face angle slightly open as you approach the ball, like this player is right here, but definitely not as far open as the before swing, right? He's almost pointing at the other bullseye. You don't want to do that. All right, now as we take a look at kind of the sweet spot's direction relative to the target line, now the sweet spot is actually slightly inside the target line or on the left side of the golf ball. And that means that it only has a little bit of room to move towards to be able to line up to the sweet spot as opposed to the other one, right? So the sweet spot on the before swing was way over here, had a lot of room to kind of move to actually line up to this ball, where this one is just barely inside. So there's not a lot of room for it to move out towards the golf ball to actually line up and hit the sweet spot. So it's much more of a neutral entry, you could call it. And that's something that we're always looking for. Whether you be slightly inside or slightly outside, that's not really a big deal. The main thing is that you got to be relatively close to kind of the center of the golf ball, and this will allow you to have the best chance to strike the golf ball in the sweet spot. Now, do I recommend you to be directly behind it or something on those lines? Not necessarily. It's really relative to what shot you're trying to play. I don't want to get into it in this particular video, but the main thing is if you can draw a line from the back of the golf ball straight back, you want the sweet spot to be pretty close to that line in the entry zone, which is right where this club head is right here. That's something that's really important and crucial to do. Okay, so now that you saw really the big change, the most important change of this lesson, now you're probably wondering, okay, well, what swing mechanics were causing him to get to this entry point? And the main swing mechanic that we were seeing was going to be face angle, and then the way that this client actually torque the club on the way down. So let's talk about the face angle. Let's take a look at the before swing, and we're going to see that the before swing, the top part of the golf club is actually below the club shaft, or I should say the top part of the face angle. So let me kind of show you what that looks like. So if I go draw a green line on the top part of the face angle, we're going to see that that is below the club shaft. Whenever it's below the club shaft, that would be a really open face angle at the top of the swing. And if you wanted more of a neutral to slightly closed face angle at the top, you'd want to see this top part of the club situated in line with the club shaft or slightly above the club shaft. So slightly above would be more of a stronger club face or slightly shut, and then situated in line with the club shaft would be more of a neutral model. If we go take a look at the after swing, we're going to see that top part of the club is still a little bit below the club shaft, so it's not quite ideal where we want it to be. However, it's a lot closer than the before swing, so the face angle is a little bit stronger than it was before. However, if we wanted it to be ideal, we would want to see that top part of the club face in line with the club shaft, and that would be the ideal preference. Now, because in the before swing the face angle was so open as well, they were starting to kind of torque the club in a certain fashion, we're going to find that as we get down to kind of around position 5, the club shaft is already starting to steepen, and it's going to continue to steepen as it approaches the golf ball. And this is something that you find for most people who have a little bit more of an open face angle as well. Even if you had more of a shut face angle, I do still see some people do this, but for the most part, you're going to find this with most people who have an open face angle. So if we go take a look at the club shaft at position 5, we're going to see that it's right around 31 degrees or 30 degrees. So if you know our particular preference, we like anywhere from 35 to 40 degrees. So it's slightly outside of that, right? Slightly steep. However, it's not, crazy at this particular point. I've had plenty of clients who've been at like maybe 10 degrees or 15 degrees, but it's getting to that point to where if he continues to steepen it, he's definitely going to get way outside at position 6, and we're going to get that entry point that you saw earlier on in this video, which let me kind of demonstrate what he did from here. All right, guys, that's it for you guys on YouTube. I want to take some time and wrap up everything that we discussed on this particular video. So the first thing was going to be the entry and exits. The before swing, we were seeing that the sweet spot was going to be entering in from the severe right side of the golf ball. The issue with that is it's going to struggle with centerness of contact because the sweet spot has a short amount of time to align to the golf ball, and it's so far away from the golf ball, so that's difficult to do. Also, the face angle before was pointed way off to the right, so that leads into the high rate of closure discussion. They're going to have a short amount of time to close the face quite a lot. It's difficult to do. You can underdo it and you can overdo it. In the after swing, we were able to get the sweet spot a little bit from the inside, but in a lot more neutral position. And then also we were able to get that face angle pointing just a little bit right of the bullseye, which was going to allow us to have a stable rate of closure. And that's something that you want to get with your entry and exits. You don't necessarily need to be inside. You don't necessarily need to be neutral. You don't necessarily need to be outside. But the main thing is you want to be close to that target line. You don't want to be so far away from it like the before swing. And then also same thing with the face angle. You don't want to be pointing so far right like the before swing was doing. And then from there, the main thing that we were finding that was causing that was going to be the face angle at the top. So you want to make sure that when you do get up to that top of swing position, that the top part of the club is going to be aligned to the club shaft and not below the club shaft. If it's below the club shaft, that's incredibly open. You don't want to do that. You want to see it aligned with the club shaft or slightly above the club shaft is okay as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share all that good stuff. Check out that link down below if you guys want to learn from me in a virtual setting for the membership site. That really helps us out. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.